Benchmarks Foundation speaks out over the violence ravaging the people of Gaza. In a statement ending its 2023 annual conference sitting in Johannesburg on 10th and 11th October and comprising of church leaders, mining affected communities and activists, where they deliberated on critical minerals towards the transition to green energy, the foundation expressed its horror at the ongoing catastrophe.
These wanton attacks and destruction of homes, schools and other populated settlements needs to come to an end. No amount of saber-rattling from the USA and its allies in the European Union, EU, and predictably NATO will bring about peace in the region. It is within this context that the call was made to us to strengthen our solidarity with the Palestinian people in their just struggle for freedom and national self-determination. As a faith-based organization working with the South African Council of Churches and the South African SACBC Catholic Bishops Conference, we are proud to continue working alongside leaders of all the faiths to ensure a just peace in the Holy Lands. Noting further, the Israeli state's trade in blood diamonds, leading to the people of Palestine being denied their fair share of drinkable water. This is nothing else but theft and iniquitous use of water supplies, as it denies the Palestinian people access to that water. This practice sadly resonates with experience in the extractive industries, as documented and highlighted during the course of this conference. Further submitting that it is important to be aware of the violence meted out by the Israeli regime on Gaza. Gaza, which is a de facto landlocked strip of land, enclave and modern-day concentration camp, where the bombing of buildings, workplaces and houses has resulted in the loss of lives that cannot be justified under international laws. International law demands protection of all citizens, and the failure to call out Israeli state violation of such attacks on the citizens prior to the Hamas attack is opportunistic as it is racist. Not surprisingly, the USA, the EU and other Western governments have lined up with the powerful against the weak and the defenseless. Instead of seeking a suitable and just peaceful solution, they vow to continue policies and practices of attrition, vengeance and violence. Israel continues to maintain exclusive control of Gaza's airspace and the territorial waters, just as it has done since it occupied the Gaza Strip in 1967. This blockade of Gaza is now in its 17th year. And the world powers have not spoken out against it. It is undeniable that the Israelis have effectively turned Gaza into the world's largest open-air prison. We therefore resolve, 1, to call for an immediate end to all hostilities and the siege of Gaza. 2, to call for an end to the blockade of Gaza, a thing that cannot be justified under international laws. 3, to express our empathy, as people have lived for decades under an apartheid regime, for the people of Palestine and Gaza in particular, when, as oppressed people, faced with oppression and tyranny, they exercise their right and obligation to resist. 4, to call on the world and the various mouthpieces to end duplicity and affirm a commitment to justice and equality for all. Finally, 5, to call for an end to structural violence represented by the annexation and occupation of the Palestinian territory by the Israeli state, as well as the reiteration of the Palestinian people's right to return, a right only open to Jewish people.